Hello, everybody. It is me, Demetra K, and I'm sitting here with Donovan, a recovering Democrat Sadiq, also known as the Black Yule Brenner. And it is the Demetra K Show. And yes, we are here live with you. I should say that the purpose of the Demetra K Show is to promote Black love, knowledge, and understanding of all things that go on in the Black community to make us an even better people, with the emphasis on even, because we're great people, but we can always strive to do better. Like I said, big giant thank you, hello, and welcome to YouTube and Facebook. You are the other side of the conversation. Also, like to say a big giant thank you to the moderators, as you guys do a great job. I could not and would not do this without you. So thank you so much for holding down the comment section. And it's not that we disagree, it's how we disagree. Also, for those of us on the panel, I'm entertaining sharing the link, just depending on how the conversation goes. But if I do share the link and your profile looks like this, and I've never seen you on here before, you must show me this. If you're not comfortable, you can go back to that. Just know that no one else except for me, not even Donovan, can see you until I bring you up to the big screen. Today, we're going to be talking about trash piles up as Philly mayor refuses striking workers' demands. And so I'm going to get into all of that. I'm going to show you all a video, and we're just going to have a discussion for about an hour about the situation there in Philadelphia. So who do we have on here before I give it to Donovan? That's Edgy. How you doing? Hope you're doing well. Mike, nice. Hope you're doing great today. Brother Don, my triple OG moderator. Brother Reggie, hope you're having a great day. Y'all, please follow Brother Reggie as he's trying to build his channel. Great content about Japan. Molly Cakes, what's going on with you? Raymond, hope you're doing well. Brother Troy, what is up? Your average logical thinker. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Donovan.
You guys, welcome back to these great conversations that we're having. If you guys want to continue to have these great conversations, there's a way you can contribute if you would like. It's not mandatory. One thing you can do that we think should be mandatory is hit that like button. It helps the algorithm and pushes these videos and conversations out there in the YouTube atmosphere on the internet. But if you would like to contribute and keep these great conversations going and keep the content creator motivated, there's a scrolling banner at the bottom there. You can donate Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, money order, cash, however you guys want to do it. It's great. Appreciate it. For those of you guys that have been with us, have been rocking with us for a long time and continue to support this channel, we thank you so much. Your efforts really, really are appreciated. Also, don't forget to download the African Diaspora News Channel app. You can get it on Google Play, Apple Store. A lot of stuff going on in the African diaspora. You guys better pay attention. You better pay attention. So this is going to be an interesting topic because once again, Black women are in the forefront of these government entities, and here's a woman, for whatever reasons, is holding the line against a very pivotal part of civilization, trash pickup. Now, as a military person, one of the biggest things we are trained to do is to police our areas of where we are living. Basically, you don't want to pee next to your tent and all that. You don't want to do stuff like that. So this has to do with hygiene. This has to do with basically disease and all kinds of stuff. So this is going to be an interesting conversation, and I think not only Philly, but this is going to have repercussions in all types of municipalities across the nation. So here we go.
Yes, indeed. Who else came on here before I get started? Kels, how you doing? Negroes, what's going on with you? So, of course, we'll greet everybody else as they come on here. So, yes, there is a Black mayor, Cherelle Parker. She's been there since last year of 2024. Before that, she was a city councilwoman, and she was in the House of Representatives, and she is a Democrat. So far as I understand, she's been in politics, I think about 20 years or so. But to Donovan's point about, Black women leadership, especially there in Philly, the same thing happened in 1986 under a Black male mayor by the name of Willie Good. And it was a 3-week strike where the trash was not picked up. So I just want to say that was a Black man that was in charge anyway. So there is a strike going on in Philly district, that's DC 33 to be exact, where nearly 9,000 to 10,000 blue-collar city workers, part of American Federation of State, County, and Municipal District 33, including sanitation staff, 911 dispatchers, department water employees, crossing guards, library workers, park attendants, and airport workers walked off the job starting July 1st. So last week, right? Now, they were asking for a pay increase. The union initially sought around 8% raise per year over a 3 to 4 year contract. They also want a cost of living adjustment tied to inflation. Now, also, they want the city to cover health care for all their employees, pandemic bonuses, tuition reimbursement for job training, bill subsidies, and added holidays like Muslim holidays, and hazard duty pay for high-risk work. Now, the city said, per Mayor Parker's administration, they're proposing a 3-year deal roughly at 3% annual raises on top of a previous 5% increase last year, totaling about 13% increase over 4 years. Now, they've declined to match the union's 8% yearly demand, citing budget limits and tax cuts. So with that, a lot of the city workers, including the trash pickup, if you will, they're like, yeah, we're not going to work. So with that, there's been a lot of trash piling up. Now, a judge ruled that, I forget the number, but 911 dispatchers had to come back to work, and a couple other essential employees that are striking. They're like, yeah, y'all got to come back to work because we can't just, have the city non-operational. But Mayor Parker's like, yeah, no, I'm not budging, but I'm going to show y'all a video.
Trash piling up around Philadelphia aren't the only thing going stale. So are the talks to bring back the city's sanitation workers.
It's outrageous already. So if this thing go another 2 weeks or so, it's going to be totally out of hand.
The work stoppage stretched into its 7th day on Monday after the mayor and union failed to reach an agreement over the weekend. Philadelphia Mayor Cherelle Parker.
The offer is historic. More than 13% over my 4-year term.
District Council 33, Philadelphia's largest municipal workers union, represents more than 9,000 city employees in essential services. They're demanding higher wages and better health care and want a 5% annual pay increase.
Philadelphia is a blue-collar city. We work hard, and unfortunately, a lot of us inside the city, not just our city workers, are experiencing difficulty with trying to keep pace.
The strike also disrupted Philly's holiday celebrations.
But there's absolutely no way that I could perform cross a picket line.
After LL Cool J backed out of the city's July 4th concert.
Just give these guys their money, man, because they deserve it.
For now, residents are left hauling their own trash to one of more than 60 temporary drop-off sites.
The mayor, whoever's responsible for this, pay these people. I mean, pay them what they need and let them do their job.
And negotiations between the city and the union are expected to resume later today. The city has obtained court orders requiring some essential workers back to work. The last time this union went on strike in 1986, it lasted for nearly 3 weeks.
Let me remove him. Should also be said that, because I looked, it says Mayor Parker is receiving a 12% raise. So I think next year she's going to get 8,000 more. She's making about 200 and I think, don't quote me, 70,000 a year. So next year she's supposed to get about another 8,000 on top of that. It says her staff also received raises, with some receiving increases as high as 62%. Says these raises were part of a broader effort to address city worker compensation during her administration. So, yeah, I could kind of see how the city workers are like, I think it was 3%, and you're hearing people getting these astronomical raises. And so I think the average salary is about $46,000 a year for, city workers. And they're like, we just cannot keep up with the cost of inflation or living. So, yeah, we need more money. Should also say that particular area of Philadelphia, from what I understand, is predominantly Black, and the city workers are predominantly Black, especially in that area. Black mayor, I don't know how much that really plays into all of it, but with what's going on there with the trash piling up, it is very unsanitary. There's one lady, she says there's a dumping site right by her house, and she says it's like 100 degrees. That's what she said anyway. And she says the smell every time she opens her door, it just comes into her house. It's unbearable, right? Now they're also fining people for dumping their trash where they're not supposed to be dumping it. So first, they're going to give them a warning, depending on what it is, and they can face upwards of a $5,000 fine and or have their car impounded for dumping, which I'm like, this kind of messed up, because if the trash is not being picked up, then what do you want us to do, right? I mean, I wouldn't want to sit with trash in front of my house. But as a lot of other people said too, I pay taxes here, and I want my taxes to go and give these workers the money they're asking for so that we could all be better off. Because to their point, if you could give your staff a big giant raise and give yourself one, $8,000 next year, you've been in a job a little over a year now, then yeah, you should be doing right by the city workers. So of course, union talks and things like that have stalled. They're at a crossroads. She's not budging. They're not budging either. So will it go past the 3 weeks that it did in 1986? It remains to be seen. Donovan?
Well. Play silly games, you get silly prizes. Isn't it amazing? The party of the union, the party of the people, is fighting the union to give them what they need that is fair and equitable. There are certain things in society that is unquestionable that you must pay. One of them, the defense of this great country. You guys notice we could be at peacetime and our war expenditure keeps going up and up and up. Nobody questions the defense spending. It has to be done because we have so many enemies out there, and we've got to smite democracy wherever we can find it, right? Also, you have things like trash. There is nobody that I'm aware of that pays taxes, property taxes, whatever, in a city that would be against giving sanitation workers fair and equitable raises. I believe Martin Luther King, he was down in Memphis when he got killed protesting for the sanitation workers down there. You guys know what this all comes down to? So, and that's why when people argue with me that the Democrats are the Democrats of the union and the people, bullshit. Sorry, Demetra, but BS. It's BS because they are fighting the unions. They roll over for big money and corporations and all of this. But the Democrats did this, and I'm going to tell you why. Isn't it funny, in cities all over the place? How many of you guys saw my video yesterday of Karen Bass acting like she can't hear the black activist asking for reparations? This is what the Democrats do, and they use black women to do it. And like I said, when I'm not admonishing black women as black women, I'm admonishing these demons that run around looking like black women but are Democrats, okay? So 2 different categories here. But isn't it strange how when the migrants came over here, there was no question of negotiating what it would cost to transport them, to house them, and to feed them? That wasn't that wasn't even a thought. Nobody came together and they just, look at Brandon Johnson. It don't matter what it costs. We're just gonna go ahead and do all this. Bust the budgets. And because, and unfortunately, some people in Philly were down for it. Oh, we got to help these people. Like I told you guys the other day, I have a friend who got laid off by LA City because the budget is busted, but he was for illegal migration. You guys, this is what happens when you take people's tax dollars, and now we can't even take care of our own people. How many of you guys saw the riots in Mexico going on? Mexicans don't want gentrification in their town, telling you, if you come to Mexico, you better learn Spanish. You got to learn the language here and learn the conditions and the customs. But this is democratic leadership, you guys, right in your face. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. When it comes to sanitation, give them whatever they're asking for. Just like Trump did the HBCUs. What did Trump say? Why do you guys keep coming to the federal government every year? I'm going to give you guys 10 years worth of stuff. I don't want to see you guys for 10 years. Of course, they still keep coming with their hands out, and nobody could find the money.
And welcome to everybody. Timothy, thank you so much for that love and appreciate you. Says, just got here. Oops, is the mayor a Democrat? Yes, she is a Democrat. And, you know, just kind of thinking about Ricky Smiley. Of course, we talked about him yesterday. He said he was scared and we're in danger and all that other stuff. Somebody was telling me this morning on his radio show, he was trying to blame what's going on in Mississippi, all the crime and stuff on Trump. And I said, really? I said, so he blaming that on Trump. Mississippi has been, you know, kind of messed up for a minute, especially depending on where, like Jackson, right? I said, but it's funny. He talking about Trump, but he ain't said nothing about Cherelle Parker, you know, who's a Black Democrat, and what she may or may not be doing in Philadelphia in regards to giving the workers a living wage. So it's funny how they never mention that kind of stuff, but Trump is the blame for everything. I'm not saying he's not the blame for some things, but the crime in Mississippi is like, come on, man. But yeah, she's a Democrat. And your average logical thinker says 3% ain't ish after taxes is nothing left to improve your livelihood. Yeah, it's like here, just take that, just go on somewhere. That's what that is, right? Hey, Tracy, how you doing? You're in Philadelphia, right? If I'm not mistaken, Tracy. Michael says, and how you doing? Says Mayor Cherelle Parker is controlled by moderate Democrats and a Democratic National Committee. I think they all are, right? And when they're not anymore, then you see what they do to them, right? MA. He says it's very hot and now stormy, and you're in Philadelphia, right? Yeah, so that's what I hear. It's very hot, and it's just I can't imagine, you know, the stench of that. Tracy says, "Oh, trash is being picked up in downtown area. Go figure." I'm assuming that's where them folks live. Who else? And hey, Buckhorse, how you doing? One Unique Monique, how you doing? Says, "Is one of those dumpsters at the mayor's house or city hall?" Now you know it ain't. That's a, you all deal with it, you know, just it'll get picked up eventually, you know, type of thing.
Let them eat cake.
Right. Philly John, how you doing? Long time no see. Says, thanks for covering my city. We stand with the union. Yeah, and I think everybody should. And yeah, MA, like you said, $46,000 a year, that ain't nothing. You know, $46,000 a year, it's cute. But if you giving raises and you giving big raises, especially to the people in your administration, I mean, 3% is what I'm supposed to do with that. You know, it's an insult, right? She might as well say, well, we just didn't have it in the budget this year. But 3%, yeah, it's a giant slap in the face. Marjorie says, so the mayor wants to fine the people whose trash isn't getting picked up because she refuses to give the city whose workers a raise. So, and you say fire her, but so they're dumping it, I guess, where they're not supposed to be. And maybe they're dumping stuff they're not supposed to be dumping. But, you know, they're going to have people looking out, and they say they got cameras and all kind of stuff. And it's like, well, I mean, would you be having this issue if the trash was being picked up? I know people illegally dump sometimes, but it sounds like it's an issue now, so more than ever in Philly. Brother Reggie says hot garbage brings rats. Yep, other critters and disease. The mayor needs to get her A off her shoulders and pay these people. Well, you know, when it comes to the collective bargaining process, of course, you know, they don't want to be overtaken by the union because it makes, you know, any organization look weak, but nothing makes you look more weak than trash piling up everywhere. I mean, it's not like you can't give raises. You did. It just was disproportionate. So she needs to budge. But that doesn't make
but that doesn't make any sense to me, Demetra. The Democrats always gaslight and tell people they're the party of the union. They support the working man. Well, show us that that's your first. You know what? Not only am I'm going to give you 10%, I'm going to give you 12%. I'm going to go above and beyond. Again, I wish people would wake up and see that what the Democratic Party says they are, they just aren't.
Yeah, and Timothy says, so is the city still charging the residents? Oh, I'm sure they got to pay their bill, right? Because like I said, it's usually on your light bill. Of course. Yeah, they're not going to be able to not pay, right? They still want the money to roll in. But for me, I wouldn't die on that trash hill. If I was her, I'd be like, okay, let's meet somewhere as close as you can. Because what the union is saying is that the mayor's office, they're just coming into the negotiations, dropping down a piece of paper, and then they leave out for like 4 hours. I guess that's probably one of their, negotiating tactics, like make them sweat, just drop the offer down and we'll leave. And they're like, well, we can't actively negotiate or bargain if you're not in the room, right? So it's guerrilla tactics, for a lack of better words. Well, if we make them suffer, and it's even to the point to where the city workers are getting loans from the credit union, the very low interest loans that they have to pay back, obviously, when they get paid. But, she's just like, yeah, okay, y'all fight over that.
Can I add this real quick? Yeah. Can I add this real quick? I don't want to cut you off. You guys, how often does Demetra and I constantly tell you guys how important local politics is? This ain't a national issue. This is a local issue. And you see how it affects the city. It's a local issue. Now, isn't it funny that when something of this magnitude happens, everybody pays attention? You should have always been paying attention. You guys need to go to your city council meetings, your planning commission meetings, your school board meetings. This is what affects you directly. And like I said, I'm with Philly, I'm with LL and all these other people like that. I'm a real union supporter. Do you like a holiday? Do you like a 40-hour week? You better thank a union. You better thank a union. You better thank a union. Okay? So I'm with the union. Don't get me wrong. But you guys, I'm telling you, this is why it is so important that you go to your city council meetings, because a lot of this stuff wouldn't be going on if everybody or the majority of the people, and you don't have to be physically there, you got smartphones for Christ's sakes, would participate.
Hey, Monique, he says, yeah, the trash is starting to pile up on corners where it hasn't been designated. Yeah, I mean, I'd imagine because it's going on over a week now. It's like, where do we put it? Now, of course, like you said, they designated areas, but I wouldn't want to be putting no trash in my car, to be taking it nowhere, right? So, yeah, it's a lot going on, and it has to be very hard to live in a situation like that. And Tracy says the jacked up part is crackhead mayor is paying workers from Maryland to clean up some of the trash, but won't budge on what the workers are asking there. That's crazy. She should be one term. She really should be. Shaw, how you doing? Says, I'm in Jersey next to Philly. The mayor is a disgrace. She needs to be removed immediately. But like Donovan said too, with state and local politics, why did people think that she was an acceptable choice for mayor? Now, she was in the Congress, a House of Representatives, and I think she was a city council too. So I don't know how she was then. They also said too, y'all can correct me if I'm wrong, when she ran to be mayor, she ran on having a cleaner, greener, city and things like that. Is like, I don't think this is going the way you said it was going to go. Definitely nothing clean or green about garbage everywhere, right?
Yeah,
Michael,
everybody, you always need to question these representatives when they say their agenda. This is what my administration is going to do. No. You work for us. If you're not going to do what we want you to do, you ain't going to be there too long, or you're not going to get elected at all. Stop letting these people gaslight you with like they're some experts and we're children. They're supposed to go there to represent us, not themselves.
Yeah, Marjorie says, but where else can they dump their trash, especially when they don't have a car or they use a city bus to take their garbage to the landfill? Yeah, they ain't thinking about none of that, right? They don't care because, like someone said, it's probably not at her house, or nowhere near it, right? And D-Max says, a capitalist society is about making more, so there's no difference for the working class. Absolutely. If you know, you know. Amber, how you doing? Says, if I was president and many people were accusing me of being a PD... How you doing? And Miss Sweets, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Antoine says the Democrats are no longer a party of the working class. They're beholden to the corporate donor class. Diane, what's going on with you? One who cares. What is up? Let's see who else is on here. Amber, I don't even know what you talk about. I really don't. Maybe it's just me. Or maybe it's Maybelline. I don't know. Michael, you say Demetra and Donovan, Democrats don't care about Black Americans and working class people because Democrats are about neoliberalism and have not moved beyond Bill Clinton's legacy. I totally agree with you. Totally. And they are being exposed every day. Thank you, Emma. Appreciate that. Brother Reddy says, I'm sure DL will somehow find a way to blame Trump for the garbage fiasco. Yeah, it's like, man, have a conversation with your girl down there. You know, I don't know, like I said, I wouldn't die on that hill. I mean, I get it from an organization standpoint, like, okay, we don't want to be muscled into something we don't really want. But I mean, the city stinks of garbage, you know. Certain things you can negotiate that you can't see, but this you can see. It's all over the street. You can see and smell this, you know. And not only that, it's not just the trash workers, but there's a whole lot of workers that are now going back to work. And besides the ones the judge said, y'all got to come back. You can't just be having people call 911 and ain't nobody there, right? I think it's like 200 workers have to go back, which is probably still not a lot in the larger scheme of things. Negroes says embarrassing for Philly, and Tracy says in my area the trash is piling up, but for some reason it's being stacked neatly. Interesting. Yeah, and they said they don't want people just throwing stuff loosely out there, which I would agree with that. Right? It's just drive by and just throw stuff out the window. No. Lynette, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. DMAX says cost of living wages is a must. If the GDP keeps going up, then people's paychecks need to go up as well. And Tracy, like you said, in 2006, you were making that, right? $46,000. And, you know, most people with a decent job was making that, you know, almost 20 years ago. And you mean to tell me that that's what the wages are to pick up trash? You know what I mean? In 2025, the wages are still less than $50,000 a year. I don't know what the cost of living is in Philly, but I imagine it's not cheap, right? Let's see. Who else came on here? Just trying to get everybody. I have not seen Michelle. How you doing? I got to the bottom. What? King Shaw, how you doing? Says DL and Ricky are being paid again by the DNC. They know their assignment, and that's to prepare for the midterms next year. But you know, the great thing about it is there's a lot of people, especially Black people, that are waking up saying, "Nah, I'm not going for it." You know, because for one thing, the Democrats aren't saying what they're going to do differently. They're not saying we're going to get in there and actually do something. Hey, Herschel, we're going to get in there and do something differently. They're just still railing against the Trump administration. I'm not saying they shouldn't, but it's like, but what is your plan? So you're saying Trump sucks, and that's why we got to be back in office. Not that Trump sucks, and this is what we have planned to right the ship. They're not saying any of that. We always know, or we've known, especially lately, Democrats have no leadership. They have no plan. And as of, I say with maybe the last couple of weeks before that, all you would do is see them screaming and howling everywhere. What's her name? Jasmine Crockett. She says, I'm just done with the Democrats right now. I'm done. I'm going to the church. I'm going to put my efforts and energy into the Black church because I was not appreciated. They said I wasn't a team player. So you're not seeing the crashing out. Then LaMonica McIvers, you know, in Jersey there, she's got a federal case. You know, she's looking at doing some time for crashing out at the ICE detention centers and things like that. So you're starting to see that die down a little bit because their notice is not working. Also, I don't know if y'all heard that the Trump administration removed the barriers, if you will, between church and state. Churches can now actively put forth or rally behind a candidate. They can actively say, hey, this candidate is coming to the church and we want y'all to vote for him without getting any trouble, right? So they removed that. Now, of course, a lot of people are speculating that the Republicans are really trying to use that to get into the churches, but I don't think it's a secret. It's been operating like that because we know that most white Christian churches are Republican. Some would even say MAGA. Most Black churches are Democrat. And I've been in church services where I've seen them invite a candidate. Oh, we're not telling you who to vote for. We're just allowing them to come up and, you know, tell you about their platform. But now they can say, hey, we think it's a great idea if y'all would all vote for, you know, A, B, and C because they're this, that, and the other. And the government is like, that we have nothing to say about it anymore. So very interesting. It's going to get very, very interesting. Kat, how you doing? It says they've been doing that all along in churches. Yeah, but now it's, you know, it's legal. It's legal out in the open. Tracy, you say 911 is up, called themselves for a welfare check because someone was laying in the grass, wasn't sure if they were dead or alive. What? Okay. Let's see who else came on here. And Michael said James Carville told the Democrats to play dead in Congress and paint Donald Trump and Republicans in a negative way by not offering tangibles for Black Americans and other Americans. Is that so? Last time I heard, James Carville was upset with the Democrats. Unicorn Squad, how you doing? Says, watch how Trump administration comes and saves the day and get the rest of the Black votes there. I don't know.
You guys want to hear something crazy? We something to talk about Democrats real quick. And I want you guys to remember this stuff. The DNC had an election to vote for their officers or whatever the deal is. Who was that young guy that survived a mass shooting? And he was like a vice chair. He won vice chair. The Democrats and James Carville didn't like the guy and they removed him. So what does that tell you about the Democrats and democracy and how it's supposed to work? They told you Kamala Harris is going to be your candidate. No primary, no nothing. I mean, I don't know if it's just me, but I look at stuff in real time. And I'm like, wait a minute, that's not democracy. That's not how you're supposed to do it. The guy won the seat. He was elected as a vice chair of the DNC. Yeah, he's speaking out. Yeah, he's putting his thing out there. But you don't remove him because he's not toting a party line. I mean, to me, this goes to show you the Democratic Party and the Republican Party. There is no democracy and people are in charge.
Thank you, Marjorie. Yes, David Hogg and Malcolm Kenyatta, they were the young ones that were the vice chairs of the DNC, and they were removed because David Hogg was like, yeah, we're primarying you guys. You old hats that do not want to move and do anything different and move the party forward. He says, I'm going to primary you. Which means that you're not going to just easy breezy, just sail on in the office like you used to do. He says you're going to have a challenger. And then from that point, the DNC was like, well, maybe it wasn't a good idea, right? Because they were voted in, right? Then the DNC conspired to have them voted out. So right there proves to a lot of people that they were not about the business of being progressive or helping people. But David said, that's okay, because I got a lot of money in this war chest and I'm still going to move to have a lot of y'all primary. Now, you got to remember, he was involved in a Marjorie, I think, Stoneman shooting, Parkland shooting, I think it was in Florida, where all those students got shot, I guess, by a classmate. So he's wildly popular, right? Very popular. So he carries a lot of weight, and a lot of people were not happy about that. They're like, wait a minute, you old fogies, y'all got rid of this guy and he's really trying to do great things, but it just kind of really exposed the DNC, and the brother Malcolm Kenyatta also was removed with him. Let's see. Animal Advocate says cost of living is very high in Philly. 45,000 is nothing. I can only imagine. DMAC says, keep running the church hustle. They don't speak for FBA grassroots. Yeah, it's always been there, but, you know, they kind of try to hide and code the language. But now they can say, hey, y'all need to, like I always say, the Democrats and the Black church especially, they're one and the same. They are the same. Of course, they said they're trying to drag us into their crappy war. We best pay attention. It ain't going. It says, I ain't going there, family. Stay focused. Is that what you meant to say? Okay. Yes. One unique Monique is David Hall. Yes, that's who it was. Brother Reddy says they're not listening to Lizard Man James Carville. Laugh out loud. They think his ideas are too old. But you know what? Whether they like it or not, James Carville is a juggernaut in the Democrat Party. I think maybe kind of lost his way a little bit. But then he's one of those, I think he's a realist in that this is not working, Democrats. You guys lost. And he was very upset behind them putting Kamala up with no plan, but joy and vibes and just concerts and stuff. He was like, what the hell?
Yeah, he was more economy stupid. You got to focus on the economy. He said that's always the core issue with Americans. The economy. If the economy is doing poorly, that's what you run on.
Yeah. And Marjorie, you're right. Says these churches have been in existence forever. Look at the communities they serve. Ask yourself, is there any changes, blessings poured out into the community? Are they really in the saving business? They're saving your money into their pockets. That's the saving business that they're in. I don't want to say that about all churches, but yeah, now they could, I guess even raise money. They can donate money and all kind of stuff. Now, see, if I was a parishioner in those churches, I'd have a problem with you giving my money to any political candidate, because I don't come to church for you to tell me who to vote for or any of that other stuff, right? That would be my last day there if I found that out. D-Mac says, bring back old Negroes like Roy Ennis when he was at Reverend Al's neck. Daryl, how you doing? Says, when the mayor and city hall make them an essential service, FBA now is the time to start your own waste management companies like others. Get those city contracts. Yeah, you could do that as well. Brother Reddy says, I love when he starts cussing. Okay.
We talked about city contracts in my city. I did a FOIA request. My city is 211,000 people, right? People being gentrified to LA come out here. Not one city contract goes to Black companies because we're not bidding for them, and we don't even think about bidding for city contracts. Most of the city contracts in my city go to Hispanic and Latino companies that bring their cousins and their brothers and their sisters. That's why do you guys know how much gas is in California? Have you ever asked yourself? Yeah, it's almost $6. It's going to go up again. All you see driving these big trucks are Hispanics, these F-150s and these 350s, whatever. Dimitri, you've seen it. And I ask myself, and I'm not like, struggling. I couldn't even imagine owning a truck. Just to fill the truck up every week would be, Dimitri, what? Almost a half of a house payment.
Yeah, it's expensive. Gas is, I was just out there. I was like, let me go back. Hey, Al, how you doing? Says Cherelle Parker is a Delta. Not surprised. Not surprised at all. Michael says Democrats are so focused on social issues because they find that working class people are asking too much for Medicare for all and living wages, etc. Yeah, none of them, Republicans or the Democrats, are interested in universal health care, any of that stuff, right? They say they are, but they're not. None of them ever want that to happen, ever. Michelle, how you doing? AT, what's going on with you? Brother Reddy says, oh yeah, who was that that pushed Al Sharpton off the stage when he was fat? You crazy. Buckhorn says, I apologize, y'all, for spelling bear with me. Sats and storms in play. It's real in DC. So it's storming out there. Well, be safe. You guys know it was storming in Texas, Central Texas, and a lot of people got swept away. It's really crazy, Tracy says gas is $1 per mile, per gallon. He says, right in Cali. JJ said there's a lot of drug money being made. That's partly why they can afford big pickup trucks. Are you talking about? Hey, I saw a good series, Landman. I think it's on Paramount. Oh, it's so good. With Billy Bob Thornton. It's so good. And I don't watch a lot of TV, but I binge watched that series. It was so good, called Landman with Billy Bob Thornton. And it just kind of reminded me of the trucks and the drug running and all that. Really good show.
Yeah, again, and it's starting to come out where, think about it. How do you immigrate here with no money, whatever? You come here illegally and you have money to start a business. How does that happen? You don't get a loan, but you have this money that comes out of nowhere. They are finding that the cartels are basically bankrolling these Hispanic candidates, and they're money laundering through the businesses. That's what they're starting to find out. ICE is starting to find this stuff out as they're breaking this stuff up.
I'm going to say we heard, or he heard, allegedly. I haven't heard that. Yes, Negroes, Billy Bob Thornton is a great actor, a really good actor, but that's a good show. Landman, really good. I was surprised how good it is. I can't wait for season 2 to come out. But yeah, I don't know. I don't even know if it's because, just thinking about Cherelle Parker, it's because it's a Black mayor or whatever it is, but it just seems like whenever there's Black leadership or misleadership, the city doesn't get a fair shake. I saw somebody liking her to Tiffany Henyard in Dalton, outside of Chicago there in Illinois, and they got her up out of there finally, right? She was the New Jack City mayor, Nino Brown, like literally, right? She's cosplaying Nino Brown at City Hall and, you know, all of that, and taking the people's money and getting the hair done and just, you know, tricking, you know, and then wanted to run again. It's like, but the other thing too is, like I said, a lot of that is on us. We got to get out of, oh, well, they black. Because as Tiffany here said, you know, I'm a black woman. Y'all black. I'm black. And it's like, what does that got to do with the price of tea in China? If you should take your own advice. If you are black and you're impressing upon us because you're black, we should support you. Shouldn't it be the same? The other way around as well? You the black mayor, your town is predominantly black, but yet you doing that to black people, but yet when they want you out of there, oh, y'all hating on the black woman, y'all trying to do this to a black woman. It's like, girl, if you don't go on out of here with your 27-piece wig, that has nothing to do with anything. But again, that is on us. Because we don't see past them being black. Well, I'd rather have somebody black in than somebody else. Listen, I know how, you know, the white politicians don't often do us that well either. I know that. But we got to get past identity politics to the point of where it hurts us. Because in most cases, not all, but most cases, black leadership does not do the black constituents any favors at all. And like I said, there shouldn't be, and I'm not speaking ill of the dead because I know some people get sensitive, okay? There should not have been a John Lewis for as long as there was a John Lewis. Now, listen, I know he went through a lot of things on that bridge and, you know, all that other stuff. I know. I'm not saying none of that was right, but man, you've been in office that long. What did Atlanta have to show for it? Atlanta they said is one of the most gentrified cities now in America. That, you know, there's a lot of black businesses, but they're leaving. And I know he's been gone for a while, but Atlanta, I think, has had a black mayor since 1973. 1973, it's had a black mayor, but it's now the most gentrified city in America. How does that work? You can't blame the white people or, you know, or politicians. You maybe can, depending on who's sitting on the city council, but the mayor is like the president of the city. There shouldn't have been a Maxine Waters. She should have been gone along, not the glory, but just out of the seat, right? She should have been out of the seat a long time ago. She been reclaiming her time and she ain't reclaimed nothing for the people who put her in there. Now I'd imagine her district is probably predominantly Hispanic. I don't know about that now because Trump is in office, but it got to a point with her. She's like, I don't need these Negroes. I'm going to get everybody else to vote for me. But black people have been putting her in office. Jim Clyburn, the same thing. They refuse to let anybody else in there, and he don't even have to do nothing. I'm having a fish fry. And black people really think that's something. So we got to get past they're black. I like them. You know, they tell me the Republicans ain't this, the Republicans ain't that, the Republicans. All right, great. We know the Republicans ain't nothing. But what are you? You've been in office 20, 30, 40 years. And what do we as black people in this district that is yours, what do we have to show for it?
Yeah,
James Clyburn told them that Obama was reparations and some other foolishness. It's a black man. He agreed essentially with Mitch McConnell, who is probably one of the most racist people, if he's still with us, in Washington. I'm just saying.
And if you do your research on these black politicians, and I say black because most predominantly people vote for their own kind. That's just human nature, right? You will find that James Clyburn was in cahoots with the Republican Party during the redistricting of the congressional seats. And he made it to where as long as he was, you know, in his area was protected, he didn't give a damn about the other black districts. That's why if you go to South Carolina and you look at the congressional seating, he's the only district left that's a Democrat. Everything else is Republican.
Absolutely. All right, let's see who else came on here. And the average logical thinker says, hey, Donovan, we'll definitely share the live. Little buddy is great. He's in the stand. Okay, so you talk about your channel. Yes, follow your average logical thinker as well. She says some really great things, very insightful about a whole lot of things. So yes, please check her out as well. Hi, Cube. How you doing? Long time no see. He says Democrats work for Wall Street wealth and social control as slaves of Wall Street. Jewish capitalists and Black Americans work for their political power and money as slaves of the Democrat Party. He said a word right there. Tahada, how you doing? It says besides the cartels giving them money, they get money from the government. LaShawn, how you doing? Says it makes sense. The mayor in California insinuated that. Talk about Karen Bass. DMAC says they have locations throughout the consulate that they go once to get they get there, and they make sure they get SBA loans, cash stipends, how to apply for public assistance, the whole 9 yards. And yeah, they were especially getting that under the Biden administration. So absolutely.
And remember our girl Maxine, what she told the homeless, I need y'all to just to go home.
And leave us your phone number and address. We homeless, lady. We ain't got no address and probably ain't even got no phone. They already says the Asian banks give loans to their own people in America. Drug lords sponsor some Hispanics banks, and credit unions give them loans also. Yeah. And we have so-called Black-owned banks, but they're not really. They got all kind of people sitting on the boards and this, that, and the other. So are they really Black-owned and operated if they got other people at the helm? I'd say no. Facts, not feelings. How you doing? Just peace and love, fam. Know why most Blacks don't have government contract? Because the Black attorneys do nothing to help Blacks get those contracts. Black attorneys not trying to make other Blacks rich. Yeah, a lot of them are gatekeepers. I totally agree with you.
So wait. So you're saying the talented 9 are HBCU graduates. They are gatekeepers to our success as a people. Is that what you guys are saying?
They definitely have been. Timothy, I will say Mint Condition is one of my favorite groups of all time. Forever in Your Eyes is probably one of my favorite songs, but I like Pretty Brown Eyes too. And thank you so much for that. I love and appreciate you. You're going to make me go listen to some Mint Condition.
Wait a minute. Is GP on here? He might not like that. My man GP, he pops up every now and then.
Donovan crazy. Tracy, I didn't say it. I let you say it about John Lewis. He's beloved, so I try not to, say certain things. But
I said it, and everybody came for him. Remember when I exposed John Lewis? Everybody came for him.
Yeah, it's kind of about timing. He had just, took his last breath, and you were wow. It's like you just couldn't shovel fast enough. It's like, slow down, killer, slow down. Hey, Mrs. Vision, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Elijah Cummings as well, D-Mac. Yeah, so there's a lot of them who just stayed in office forever, and their district, predominantly Black, had nothing to show for it. And it's sad, Let's see who else. Victoria, how you doing? Says Black mayors and governments do nothing for neighborhoods. Black politicians leech off of people and pocket the money for themselves, fixing up nothing. Yeah, and I think they probably all do it. Yeah, especially as of lately, right? Seems like we've seen a lot of Black politicians getting caught up in a lot of foolishness, a lot of chicanery, right? And it's like, come on now, enough. So yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, and did you hear about Marilyn Mosby? That I guess she did an interview during her house arrest, and everything that came out of her mouth was Trump this, Trump that, whatever. Is this all the Democrats have? What is the Democratic plan? Okay, we already know what Trump's going to screw up the country. We know he's going to give the tax breaks to the rich and all that other stuff. We already know this. But wait, didn't Biden give the tax cuts to the rich too? Didn't he extend the Trump cuts?
He left.
See what I'm saying? Yeah. You see what I'm saying? They point, but they're all doing the same thing. All I want to know is, what are the Democrats going to do better? Do you want to know what the Democrats need to do if they want to get back into power? We're going to give Black people reparations. Done. You're back in like that. Period. And be specific about the reparations you're going to give us. You can start at 17 trillion, and we might negotiate maybe 16. We might give you a military discount and drop it to 16. However, if you want to win, just say reparation. But see, the Democratic Party, right here in California, we couldn't get reparations here. That goes to show you the Democratic Party is not the party of Black people.
Yeah, and they haven't been, right. Tahada Hadi says black lawyers refuse to help us. Yeah, they're a lot of them have been gatekeepers, right? Because there's a lot I mean, that's what they were supposed to do, right? With the talented 10th, I think they're considered part of that. They were supposed to go get the knowledge and education to come back and help the 90%, right? They haven't done that. They went and got the education and kept on trucking. So yeah. Yeah, logical thinker says mint condition, nothing left to say is one of my favorites. Yeah, I don't think there's a mint condition song.
Forever in your eyes, forever in your eyes. Come on now.
Yeah, that's probably one of my favorite songs. Absolutely. Or if you love me. Ooh, the end of that song is just, man, is everything. Michael said Demetra and Donovan, black and non-black Democrat politicians are addicted to capitalism because they receive dark money from big corporations. To me, it reminds me of one who likes drugs. Okay.
Wait a minute. The Democrats. Good. Wait a minute. The Democrats said the biggest problem in politics is Citizens United. Under Joe Biden, they had the House and the Senate, and yet they didn't do anything to repeal Citizens United. But it's a problem. Big money in politics is a problem when the Republicans are in control. Make it make sense.
Right, brother Reggie. Al Green, not the singer. Yeah, he's here. You know, he's the one that kind of got thrown up out of there when he stood up, I guess, protesting his first State of the Union, or he was addressing the union. You know, he had his cane up in the air. It's like, man, if you don't go sit your permanent wearing self down somewhere. Michelle says Republicans don't do much for their constituents either. Kentucky is a welfare state, which is predominantly white. Yeah, because they told them all you got to do is just be white. Whiteness is all you need. And I forget who it is. It says if you get them thinking you're better than, you know, the best black person, then that's all they need, right? They don't need anything else. But you're right. A lot of them, especially in those states, they vote against their own better interests. They thought, in some instances, when Trump was getting the first time he was in office, he was trying to get rid of the affordable Obamacare, right? Trying to get rid of Obamacare. So when they went and interviewed those people in the sticks of Alabama and things like that, white people, they're like, how do you feel about Obamacare? Oh, it's terrible. They need to get rid of it. Oh, it's terrible. And they were like, well, what do you have? I have the Affordable Care Act. And they're like, did you know that was Obamacare? It is.
Yeah, and recently with the big beautiful bill, Medicaid is getting reduced or whatever it is, and everybody's up in arms about it, which I don't give a damn. That affects mostly those people in those states because they receive most of the federal government stuff like that. So it's kind of crazy.
Yes, Azaria, how you doing? You say, and he also enforced qualified immunity. So you're talking about he being Trump. Yeah, I mean, but nobody got rid of qualified immunity. Now, Biden and them did on a federal level to water down. I mean, you are more than likely not going to get stopped by the FBI, CIA, Border Patrol unless you're trying to cross it, right? Or something like that. You're more than likely to be unalived by your state and local law enforcement. So they still have qualified immunity. The president can only do things on the federal level. So, yeah, and Timothy, thank you once again. Says Donovan, I am the side dude. Say what competition? Oh, you don't have to worry about being the side dude with me. Donovan, he's in love with my sister. He's keeping hope alive with her. So just so you know. Negro says we built the house and we live in it. We are not guests. There you go. Let's see. Marjorie says birds of a feather flock together. Yep. That's Edgy. Thank you so much for the super sticker. Love and appreciate you for that. Timothy says, peace, everyone. I'm so sad. Why are you sad? Don't be sad. Be glad. Money Moves.
It's all over but the shouting and the screaming.
Right. Hey, Money Moves said, yes, reparations will definitely put them back in power. Yeah, but they're not going to do it. But I think they'll realize, yeah, well, you know, they started to talk like that. Ayanna Pressley, you know, she's like, well, we want $3 trillion. $3 trillion for Black Americans. Now, a couple months before that, she was talking about, well, I'm gonna take up the reparations study, because Sheila Jackson Lee was doing it, but then she, and so she was like, I'm gonna take up reparations study, and we was like, we don't want that, and we've been telling you we don't want that, right? So now, and then she came back to the table saying, okay, how about 3 trillion? Come on, 3 trillion for my peoples, and we're like, well, we want that, but you need to add on maybe like 20 more trillion. That would be good. So yeah.
But isn't that crazy? They only propose those things when they're not in power and they know that it has no way of passing. Isn't it funny? Oh, we're for reparations when the Republicans are in power. It has no chance of going anywhere. But when they had the House and the Senate and the presidency, you didn't hear them propose anything in regards to Black people. Not one thing. But the Asians do the crime bill because the Blacks are beating up on the Asians. These people know Kung Fu and karate. What are you talking about?
Hey, H. Anthony, how you doing? It says, I'm in Philly and the Democrats have ruined it here. Yeah, and that's, most Democrat-ran cities is like that, and it's sad. Because it's like you really could do good, or at least pretend, right? And you don't want to. And again, like I said, the people need to stick themselves for continuing to vote them in. At what point do you say, okay, enough? Let's get somebody else in here, even if it's because, especially like the House of Representatives is every 2 years. Let's try somebody else for 2 years. And if that don't work, then we can entertain something else or whatever. But we got to send a message, because that's one thing I tell you about white folks. They vote people up in there and they get the tripping and tricking. They're like, oh, you're out of here, buddy. You're gone. We're going to get somebody else in here, right? They don't typically let people just sit and play in their face for 20, 30, 40 years. They get them up out of there. Facts Not Feeling says Republicans do a lot for their base. Their base is the wealthy. Yeah. And the Democrats could do the same thing, try to get all these opportunities and, loans and stuff in where they live, but they don't. Especially in the city council, in Black neighborhoods, they allow all the checking the cash, pawn shops, all the low-hanging fruit stuff.
All the weed shops are in the Black neighborhoods.
Yeah, all the food deserts and stuff, but again, the people need to wake up. The state and local elections have the lowest turnout, because people don't feel that's important, and they'll cry about the potholes or whatever, right? Potholes in my lawn or whatever it is. And then they're like, well, do you ever go to the city council meetings? Do you know who your city council member is?
I'm Miss Jackson. I don't like what's going on. And I'm here to say, y'all gonna stop it right now. Why is it that Black women think that when they show up someplace, everybody's going to listen to them and it's just going to stop? This is a true story. Demetri will tell you. There was a lady that showed up at city council 2 months after everything had been approved, and she was a hollering and a screaming like they were just going to jump and do exactly what she said to do.
It's like, Miss Jackson, if you don't sit down somewhere in that chicken frying dress that you showed up to the city council, city hall in, okay, nobody's taking you seriously. Look like 2 pigs fighting under a blanket in that dress, ma'am. Hey, Thunder, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Says, would you believe me that Representative Al Green more than likely is being voted in solely for his name alone? I believe it. Says,
watch the movie The Distinguished Gentleman. That exactly talks of how these people get voted in, name recognition.
Yeah, he said there are some voters that will and have and still vote for him just because of his name. That is too funny. Original Copper, how you doing? He says another demon rat mayor. Tracy said, did y'all hear about the reporter that asked Trump if he would also self-deport considering he's an anchor baby? No, I didn't see that. I'm sure he or she is never invited back to the press conferences at the White House. Never again, okay? President 48, how you doing? Long time to see. He says the state of Philadelphia, or the city of Philadelphia, he said, is collapsing to the ground with gun violence and no community structure or nuclear family household for progress, long-term development for salvation for the people and citizens. Yeah, there's a lot of things that need to go on there. And that should start with the mayor, but she's too busy dying on a pile of garbage. Facts I Feeling says, let's get real. Says Democrats will not do reparations willingly because they are not about to go to war with whites in America to defend blacks. Just keeping it real. And I totally agree with you. As Eddie says, the question I keep asking myself is, when do Black Americans, when are they going to have on political party? Elon Musk just got there recently and is about to launch his own, the American Party. Trump is like, that's not a good idea. I mean, it remains to be seen. He's got a lot of money. He definitely could make it happen, right? Now, will people join? Yeah, but of course, people saying he's going to split votes, and that's what they say about most third parties.
Donald Trump's going to deport him. He's going to revoke his citizenship.
Yeah, he talking a good game. Enuma, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. They talking a good game, but we don't think it's going to happen. But Kari, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Miguel, what's going on with you? He says this is what happened when blacks run the cities. Okay, this is what happened when you get blocked. Let's see. Who else came on here that I didn't see? 48 TCO, how you doing? Says, I'm calling ICE this Saturday. One in Houston, Texas, and on Antoine Drive, these mofos selling tacos, puppies. Wait, tacos, puppies, furniture, corn in a cup, laundry detergent with no permit. Just, I can't stand you. You say just stay tuned because corn in a cup is crazy. BD, how you doing? Says the Democrats should have term limits no more than 10 years. I mean, they all should. Democrats, Republicans, they should all have term limits. That's enough. Thank you for your service. Now go and out to pasture or whatever you do when you're done running, right? MC Fact, how you doing? Marcus, what's going on with you? Says trash man here. Pay them. Yeah, pay them. They pay now, and then when they do finally reach an agreement, now they got to go and collect all the trash all over the city when she could have just gave them some money. More money, right? King Shaw says,
and what kills me is they didn't bean count when the illegals came, but here are American citizens who pay into the damn system, and you're going to be stingy with city money. I can understand if it was a private business and you got to negotiate with the union because it's a private business, but this is a city situation where taxpayers fund it. Give them the money.
Money moves. He says, laugh out loud. Do you think Elon fake party has a chance? You never know. He does believe in UBI, and AI is taking over most jobs. You know what's funny? I saw somebody propose that. They said it'd be great if he, Andrew Yang, and it was somebody else. It wasn't Bernie Sanders. But if they all got together, it would be good. And I agree with that, right? I like Andrew Yang. And I know not necessarily for reparations, but the UBI is talking about $2,000 a month for 18 and up, I think to 80 or something like that. No strings attached, no matter what you do or don't do as far as income, that money is yours free and clear, right? For whatever reason, people didn't like it. Oh, where he gonna get that money from? But you voted for each party who was giving all this money to, foreign wars and things like that. And he also believed in democracy dollars. He says, let's say we give each American $100, democracy dollars, and let them donate to the party that they want, opposed to all these special interests, right? These lobbyists and people coming in and controlling Washington. The people would do it because they would actually be the donors, but people didn't like that. I didn't get that.
Yeah, let me answer that. Money moves. I think it's a great idea. I'm with Demetra on that, but unfortunately, whenever a new party rises, both of the old parties attack it. And I'll give you a good example. Remember, I don't know how old you are, but Demetra's pretty old. So do you remember a guy named Ross Perot? Go look in history. He started a party, and then he mysteriously ended up dying a few months after the election, whatever. But anyway, the point is he was a rich guy in the 90s, and it was because he ran. That is why Bill Clinton became president, because it took votes away from George H.W. Bush. But whenever a third party rises, the other two parties attack it, which again also proves these are the same people, good cop, bad cop. Because why would two opposing parties work together to destroy a third rising party? So I'm with you on it, but I honestly believe the old guard and the old party would not allow it because it happened in the 90s and we hadn't heard from Ross Perot's third party ever since.
I've heard that. I think for me, I'm just naturally stupid, okay? My daughter, she's like, oh my God, what's wrong with you? Like, okay, we went to Buc-ee's today, right? I like Buc-ee's. And I saw this. And she's like, are you serious? I said, dead. I need to have this. It's Bucky, or sort of, but it's a straw. So yeah, I told her, what, you could have been born with to a mom that's boring. Then what would you do? You know, but Thunder says, and one thing about Miss Jackson at the city council meeting in the chicken frying dress. Let me ease your troubled mind. I can confirm that it is not, and I repeat that it is not indeed not a BBL. No, Miss Jackson was all natural, but she, you know, she needed a little girdle on underneath, you know. But yeah, she had to be heard that day.
I don't want to give a nod to this guy, but I don't know why Michael Suarez keeps coming on here and trying to get it. He says blacks should not be able to vote, but he's probably here illegal himself. So,
and his mom. Yeah, and his mama too, his daddy, and his bald head granny. They're all probably here. But yeah, if I'll get to them if no one else does before I get there. Raven says our ancestors had the courage, character, grit, tenacity, integrity, but not the resources. And today's blacks have the resources, but none of the aforementioned traits. We do. We just got off track a little bit, but we do. We're finding it. How about that? Let's see. Cleo Phoenix, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. The silent investor, how you doing? Says if the strikers were Mexican, they would have gotten their demands by the end of the day. You ain't lying. You ain't lying. Philly trash picker, how you doing? Says I drove through North Philly. I never seen anything like that before. Now I don't know how old you are, but they said it happened in 1986 under black mayor as well for 3 weeks. But yeah, I'd imagine that is a horrible sight, you know, and smell. I would be so angry. I would be, because I do not like piled up nothing. You know, yeah, Tracy, Yang is not necessarily for us, but I'd rather vote for Yang that's talking about a UBI of $2,000 a month, free and clear, than not getting nothing. That's why I said I didn't understand that. You know what I mean? Because we could work on reparations, but while we're working on reparations, yeah, send me my money every month. Don't be late. You know what I mean? That's kind of how I saw it. I liked a lot of the things that he was talking about. He, like you said, I'm a math guy. I do the numbers. It has to make sense mathematically if we're going to do any of this. And he said, this makes sense. So, but yeah, that wasn't going to happen, right? Jill Stein. Yeah, Jill Stein, she's for reparations, but, you know, she's for a lot of other stuff too. You know, I think illegal immigration, she was on that as well. Yeah, so Icy Kitty.
S. Edgy asked the most serious question, and the question that should be asked, and it should have been asked at the beginning of this program, Demetra. Where is Dr. Umar?
Oh, he
is from Philly, and Will Smith. Right.
Yeah. Mad Dog, did I say hello to you? Not hello. He says, this is why I don't get excited when our people are in political offices. Yeah, it's like, what you gonna do, right? Yeah, yeah. But what is Dr. Umar gonna do? You know, he's one person, one vote. What is he?
Hit the cash out. My beautiful black queen. My beautiful black queen. Hit that cash out. You want to do it again?
Yeah, I mean, I don't have a problem with Dr. Umar getting money. You know, he's very insightful. He does a lot, you know, all that. I don't have a problem with that. But even just saying where Dr. Umar is, he's one vote. He's one voice. And that's not saying this, whoever made this comment, but, you know, it can't be up to just Dr. Umar to get the mayor in line or whatever the case is, because it wasn't just him. If he votes there, it wasn't just him that voted, right? If he did vote there. So it's a collective issue. Bakari says, I'm in Los Angeles. They talking about illegals getting kidnapped. For real? Yeah, I did actually see where it says some people are posing as ICE agents, but they're not. Logical thing says, I remember Ross Perot. He was old back then. Yeah, he died. He didn't die right after the election. Died some years later.
Like a year, yeah, a couple years afterwards. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mysteriously.
Well, he was old. Ross Perot was pretty old. All right, let me skip down. And Philly trash picker, he says, well, the worst with the trash is 52 Westminster, but North Philly is pretty much trash. So I understand. Oh, let me see here. Hold on. Let me do him a favor. If somebody else, let me see. Okay, I have to block Miguel again because he keeps on making pages, and I guess he's bored. I don't know. Yeah, Thunder. I can't go on to Bucky's. Bucky's get me every time. Bucky's get me every time. Michael says that Andrew Yang only supports a study for reparations, even though he is for a UBI. Are both? Are you sure about supporting him? Well, out of all the other candidates, I didn't have a problem with Andrew Yang. Yeah, he wasn't for reparations, but you don't want $2,000 in your pocket a month?
Yeah, when Andrew Yang first came out, Demetra and I, we were one of the first people on it and saying, hey, this is a good idea.
Hey, Big Rich Jr. Oh, I sent him somewhere. All right. I sent him to block land. All right, let's see. King Shaw says Philly already have trash before the strike. So it was already like that, but not quite like that, though, right? Facts Not Feeling says blacks have resources, but we keep ignoring the apartheid country we live in that has a poverty subjugation plan for blacks. Yep, and we keep falling into it and voting people who know about the plan but pretend that they don't, right? Raven says integration deleted the traits we were putting in success cement. Okay. Bakari says, what happened to that $5,000 that South African promised? Well, I was kind of reading on that, and they're basically saying that Elon is partially why he's mad with the Trump administration or Trump, because he's, went and made all these cuts. And of course, it hurt his businesses and things like that. And then with this one big, beautiful bill, which is what he's really mad at, he's like, you just undid everything that I tried to do. The money that we found, the fraud and stuff, now you're just going to, shovel it right back out the back door. But yeah, originally that was the plan, right? Everybody's going to get $5,000, and we knew it was a lie. Thunder says, not going to lie, $2,000 a month could help a lot of folks. Yeah, it could be a game changer for a lot of people. A lot of people. Yes, Brother Reggie, Jill is for open borders. Absolutely. So that's not going to help nobody, right? Money moves. Thank you so much for that love and appreciate you. He says, thanks for the telling the truth and feedback. Yep. We try our best to tell the truth around here. So thank you so much.
One thing that we say, we don't know everything. We learn just as much from you guys as you guys learn from us. So it isn't like we were sitting up here and we're just so this is that. You see, Demetra and I definitely don't rock like that. So
we try not to anyway. Yeah, MC Fact, you tell Donovan I'm not old. I'm older, but I'm not old. Donovan is older than me by like 10 years. BD says Mayor Parker is going through it with the trash stoppage, the gun violence in the transit system going up to $390. So that's what it is per ride. Yeah, that's a lot of money. And thank you, Miss Sweets, for asking everybody to hit the like button. Love and appreciate you for that. So truth. He says city council is a joke. The mayor tried to sell the public a 76ers arena downtown Philly and got played by the 76ers. The public did not want the arena. She had the money for that. It sounds like she got a lot going on.
Well, that happens all over the major cities. It's the greatest grift of all times. You say you're going to bring jobs, which are part-time and seasonal jobs, to the people and to build the stadium. A good example, Maxine Waters. Where's her district at? South Central Los Angeles, right? Where did they put SoFi Stadium? Right in the heart of the Black historic area, and moved all those Negroes up out and public domain their properties and moved them out of there for part-time jobs that mostly Hispanics now are getting. That's how it works. Capitalism.
Yep. Yeah, $2,000 a month can help people get a fresh start and can add to their already income. Yeah, I that just really confused me. People ran away with the talking points. Well, where's that money gonna come from? I was like, where all the other money comes from when they want to pay for stuff, right? Negro says we don't need open borders for a while. We need to fix our country first. Yep. Brother Reddy says, wait, didn't y'all go to school together? Didn't Donovan get left back? Nah, we did, but yeah, he got left back. And he's a lot older than me. We're at the same school. Yeah.
No, what happened? Here's a true story. She started the Black Student Union and kicked me out because I was too militant.
Oh shoot, where'd he go?
Looking for Ricky Raccoon.
He was. I said no allowed in this black student union, okay?
But yet she's hopping the fence to go see her boyfriend at the other school.
And I still had a 4.0 grade average, boo-boo, okay? I could have graduated a whole year early because my mama made me go to summer school. Now, I will say my freshman and sophomore year didn't start off that well because I, had different ideas, okay? But then I got serious. Yes, I would leave early. Sometimes I would ditch school and go to the school my boyfriend went. Ditching school to go to another school is crazy. But you wasn't allowed up in there doing that, okay? When I got back, it was all business.
Kick the brother out because I was too militant.
Yeah, we was about business up in there. And so Bakari live in Inglewood. You say the SoFi Stadium and the Intuit Dome are terrible for Inglewood. Yeah, drove up the cost of living, the gentrification, ran people up out of there. It's crazy. And Maxine Waters was all for it. Thunder says, if we did start a black cruise ship line, what would be a good name? Should we honor Mr. Garvey by using the name he chose? Yes.
Soul ship.
Nah, the black Star Line is
soul ship.
No. Yes, Black Star Line is perfect. Perfect. But we should, right? Maybe. I don't know. If that's a good idea. So anyway, y'all. And Speedy says, Demetra, if I was not married, I would be on my way to Houston. Yeah, you can't be married. Can't be married. Only thing another woman husband could do for me is go be with your wife. Okay? That's the only thing you can do. But that does make me feel good nevertheless. So anyway, y'all, we're going to get out of here. Love and appreciate y'all. I will be back here tomorrow. Will Walter be here? I don't know. But if he's not here, I will definitely be here to have a great conversation with y'all for about an hour or so.
Another night of great conversation. Again, you guys really do make the show. You guys' comments are on point. Take this information. And again, some of you guys need to start your own channels because the more information that is out there that people could get ideas, the better we are as a people. Because let's face it, these smartphones and social media is making people stupid. It just is. It just is. But the more information you got, the better it is and chances you are of making an intelligent decision.
Yeah, smartphones, social media, AI. Like if you're ever on Twitter or X, people see something like Grok. What does this mean? That's the AI portion of it. And I'm like, are you stupid? Hey, you can't ascertain what they're saying. You need to ask AI. AI don't even know. It's just getting the information from somebody else. Somebody else is a human, right? So yeah, I use AI sparingly. I don't use it much because I don't want to be robbed of my thought process. But yeah, there's a lot of people out here just gonna be ChatGPT. What should I do next? And it's gonna say, breathe, sucker, breathe. That's what you should do. You need me to tell you to breathe? Anyway, love y'all. See y'all tomorrow. Peace.